finished the little booklet. This is the how-to video of how to make this little booklet. And actually, it's going to be this thin because I'm using paper and not cardstock. Because I already showed you that there's various. You can use cardstock or you can use regular thin paper. It really doesn't matter. It's just there's a thickness value. I decided not to add the ribbon to it because I just thought it looked pretty. But I decorated the insides of the pages, added some cute little things to it, and I added 2 little gold butterflies to it. Isn't that cute? So I'm going to show you now how to make it. I'm probably going to really suck at this, but that's okay. Alright. First things first is you will need your paper. You will need about 2 sheets. I know I'm holding 3 here, but I found 3 pieces of paper that I really liked that I thought all kind of went together. If you don't have to get the exact sheets I'm working with, you can get whatever you want, but just know that you need the 12 by 12 square scrapbook sheets, which I got these 2 from Hobby Lobby and this one from my local scrapbook store. I got this one today. These I got 2 days ago. So. But if you do want to find these 2 are from my Mind's Eye from Hobby Lobby. This one's 29th Street Market in Spring Greens, item 291139. And then this one was Penny Lane, and this is called Graceful Circles. And that item number is PL1179. So just in case. And this one is just called Karen Foster Design. I don't know. It's called Blooming Style, and its item number is 64275. Well, you'll need at least 2 pieces of paper. 1 to make the pages. You're going to be using a whole sheet, and then 1 to make the covers with. And then, of course, you'll need stuff to decorate with. You'll need various stickers, 3D things. I'm going to probably be using this couple of these little things, and I plan on using the green butterfly for the front. And then you'll of course need ribbon, which ribbon. Ribbon, if you want to use it to tie your book, like the blue one here, you use ribbon, you can tie it. I'm sorry, I'm just jabbering on. And so, that ribbon, you can use whatever kind of ribbon you want. And then you need, of course, pretty much it. You need glue. You can use scissors to cut, but I would prefer to use an X-Acto knife thingy and a X-Acto knife cutting board. Hot pink with green. Pretty color combination. So this is my mom's supplies I'm using. I don't actually use my own because I'm a cheapskate and I just go into my mom's house and use her stuff. I pay for my own. My mommy just absolutely loves and adores me and lets me use her stuff. Please forgive the dogs barking. Alright. Oh, and what I did, how I made these gold butterflies on here is I used this stamper thing, which stamped out the little gold butterfly thingy-ma-dingers. Anyway, to get started, first I have to select my sheet, which I'm going to be using my Graceful Circles. Here we go, and alright, I'm going to take the camera and show you how I fold this.
It's recording.
Alright, so I'm using my Graceful Circles from Penny Lane. Just so you know, you do not have to at all use exactly what I'm using. Use your own. And you fellow scrapbookers, you all know that. But for those who don't, you can pick out your own. What you're going to do is you're going to fold it exactly in half. Make sure you're folding with a pretty design on the inside. Or if you have double-sided, like this is just a straight example. Some come in double-sided. And so just make sure that the side that you want the pages to be seen is on the inside. So what you do is you fold that in half. Exactly. Alright. So some people have this thing called a bone folder. So, and it can like really keep, I just use my hands, but a bone folder is supposed to keep it nice and thin. I just use my nails and my hands. So, and then you fold it like this. Kind of like you fold it in half and then you take, here it is, you fold it in half. Then what you do is you take one little half of it and you fold it like that. Make sure it's pretty lined up. You know, just go ahead and take your time. You don't want to mess this up because if you have uneven pages, then you have to go cut and do all these fancy full cutting things and remeasuring and a lot more hassle than you want. Keep things easy. Okay? Alright. And so you have it folded like an M. Alright, you do it again. This time you take your side, like this, you move it like this, and you do the same process in half. do that again. This part I would think is the trickiest part, is the cutting and the folding, because then the rest is just gluing stuff on. Well, actually, making the covers, cutting on the covers might be the hardest. Not really. It's more physically hard, not really mentally hard. Alright, so we have it where it's fold this way, so you have a bunch of these, if you look closely, these little square things. Alright, now this is where you come in. You flip it over like this, because you're going to be using, you can use scissors, but I'm going to be using the, that's not my X-Acto knife. The X-Acto knife here. You want to flip this over because when you're cutting across, you don't really want to ruin the top, so you flip it over. Move my pretty little butterflies there. You can see my stuff has gone over. Now what you do not want to cut all the way across here. You want to start right here, unlike there's like 3 corner joints where they meet up. You want to start here, and along the line, you want to cut along the line. Take your time here. Do not rush. You can use scissors, but I prefer a X-Acto knife. Gets a nice, cleaner, thinner cut, while scissors are kind of fumbling with. Ah! And see, don't mess up like that. I messed up. It's okay. It's not gonna ruin the overall thing. You can see my X-Acto knife is not as sharp as I wish it was, but that's okay. You'll just glue that down, and then you flip it over this side. Okay. Now here's where you're going to do the same exact thing, only on the opposite side, on the center. Okay? If you hear that, that would be my sissy. You cut along. Be very careful. Keep it. Take your time. Do not rush. Flip it over. And so you're going to do the same as you did on the other end. Just know that these ends face this way and this end faces that way. Your center faces the opposite of these two. So, alright. Sorry if my head gets in the way here. The last one I always find it's the hardest to do because you don't want to ruin or touch the other ones really. Just taking your time. Be slow. I feel like Bob Ross right now. For those who don't know Bob Ross, he's the one. He did this thing, his happy tree thing. He was a really cool oil painter, and he was like from the 60s, 70s. He wore bell-bottom pants, big afro. Really awesome. He has a great voice. I would listen to him. So what you do is, with this flap, just know that this flap here, your first flap, here, let me show you. You have an M now. A nice, pretty looking M here. So what you're going to do is this flap here. You can start on either end, I guess. It really doesn't matter. I usually just grab an end. Okay, so this way. Usually this one's folded inward here, so you want to fold that out. The lines are just to help you. This part is going to be attached, like here, is going to be attached to your book cover. So, as you can kind of see, this kind of attached to the book cover here. So, you want to make sure you have this, make sure you don't want it to be glued like this. You want it to be like this. And you just kind of fold it in. So, like this folding process takes a little time. I'll show you in the end what it should look like.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, so here we go. Here's our little book. So, as you can kind of see, kind of accordions like. So, make sure you have 2 individual flaps. These are going to be glued down to the cover of the book. So, but what you do is first fold it open like this. Because what you're going to do is you're going to glue this side together. Now, where is my glue? I need glue. There's some glue. This part I usually use stick glue. It's just, you just glue along the edges, a little down the center. So, this part's pretty much the fun part. You just glue. Then you flip it over. Kind of like a post-it note thingy-ma-dinger. It's okay, just wipe that off somewhere. Alright. you don't finish there. You like now, so you have those pages, but then you want to finish these pages. So that's when you open in another direction and get these. So, there we go. And you glue it, and then there should be another one there. You just kind of glue until you see. Whenever you see where it like folds like this, that's most likely where you have to glue it. So, and then you should have one more. Here it is. Okay, so now we have our booklet. We have our cute little pages. Make sure you pull them apart to make sure that, you know, the glue sometimes on the top will stick them together. So make sure that they're nice and pulled apart. And now for the cover, as you can see on this one and even on my little one here, that they have a pretty thick cover. It's either made out of, I heard people use chipboard. I just use cardboard, or like if I have thin cardboard, I just put a couple of tiny thinner cardboards glued together, but just plain old cardboard works. And you cut them about, you measure, and you give it just a tiny bit of an edge, like I think it's a millimeter of an edge, 1/4, like 1 teeny tiny of a centimeter kind of thing, just so that when you do open it, like it has protected, so your edge isn't gonna like overstick out like that, as you can see. So just give it a nice little edge. And so to save on time, I cut one already out, and you can tell it's like, I think this was a Black & Decker box of my dad's when he bought a weed eater thing. So that's why I have one here, partially cut. You can use scissors, but I'm still finding the X-Acto knife, a sharp X-Acto knife, mine isn't that sharp, better. And so you just kind of make sure you measure your line, make sure they're about even. So you X-Acto knife it. Oh, it's already kind of did one, and so there you go. Throw your scraps away. Right that way. Alright, I had to pick that up later. Make sure you have your 2 little pieces of cardboard. Now here's the part where you take your paper, your color coordinating thing with your pages, and kind of I like this one. I'll save it for later, but I'll use this for the front. This is Elmer's. Same thing. They're the exact same thing. They cost about the exact same thing. It really doesn't matter which brand you use. Not too picky. And what you do is you fold it over like this. Now you might have to hold it. This part I use way too much glue, but you might have to hold it there for a sec. Forgive it being so messy. It's not that messy. This is just me. The mess is me. No one else. So really sorry about that. Wipe that off. Alright. Flip to the other side. Use a thin amount. Not too thin. Not like the messy side I did. Use a nice decent amount. Nothing too thin. Always, always, always put the caps back on your things, because you do not want your glue. I have glue all over my fingers. See, when you use too much, glue will come up, so don't worry, just kind of press it back down. As the glue dries, it will eventually stay down. And again, see, it's still messy. The glue that's rubbing on top here is my fingers, so it might actually help some. So you might want to hold it down for a little bit. We'll be right back.